Okay, well, hold on 1 second. I just got this going. Okay, the TV was left on, so I had to fix that. I'm going to cover a topic that I think nobody has covered. And this is going for the Flat Earth community, I guess. So we can get this out there for people to take it at their will of what they want. So, hold on. This computer's slow, if you didn't know from my other video. Okay, so this guy, his name is Giordano Bruno, and I discovered him probably, I don't know, about a month and a half ago. And I wanted to get some information out about him because I don't know if anybody knew about him. But he was kind of a philosopher. Let me see. He was an Italian philosopher. His name is Giordano Bruno. Not to be confused with Bruno Giordano. Okay, so he was born with Filippo Bruno. That was his original name. He was an Italian Dominican friar, philosopher, mathematician, poet, and cosmological theorist. So, okay. Let me see this. 1548. And, we never learned about this guy in school. So, at least I don't remember learning about him in my school. I went to public school. But, I think he was a pretty interesting guy because he has like pretty radical views, and he was executed at the end of his life. He lived for a long time though, which is pretty interesting. But he was basically held for safety for many different reasons or something. Okay, his cosmological theories, which conceptually extended to the then novel the Copernican model, which is what we base our stuff off today, like the heliocentric model and all this stuff. But he proposed that stars were distant suns surrounded by their own exoplanets, and raised the possibility that these planets could even foster life of their own. A philosophical position known as cosmic pluralism. He also insisted that the universe is in fact infinite and could have no celestial body at its center. So he actually came up with this idea of stars being distant suns, which is kind of what we think today, right? I mean, that's what I'm assuming, because of what I've been taught in school. And they're surrounded by their own exoplanets like ours in the solar system. So he actually came up with this idea. And we never learned about him in school, but he based it off of the Copernican model. This was his idea. In 1593, let me see, he was tried for heresy by the Roman Inquisition on charges of including denial of several core Catholic doctrines, including eternal damnation, the Trinity, the divinity of Christ, the virginity of Mary, and transubstantiation. Bruno's pantheism was also a matter of grave concern, as was his teaching of the transmigration of the soul, which is reincarnation. You could look up more about that if you want. Inquisition found him guilty, and he was burned at the stake in the Rome's Campo di Fiori in 1600. So, he was born in 1548, so he lived for 52 years. I mean, I guess that's sort of a long life, right? But this is the history that we've been told. So who knows for sure, but this is what it is right now. After his death, he gained considerable fame, being particularly celebrated by the 19th and early 20th century commentators who regarded him as a martyr for science, although historians have debated the extent to which his heresy trial was a response to his astronomical views or to the other aspects of his philosophy and theology. Bruno's case is still considered a landmark in the history of free thought and the emerging sciences. Now remember that, free thought. That is what we are basically what I would say having this whole argument for, like free thought, free think, like anything you want to do, you can say as what you will. Free thought in any way is acceptable. I mean, you could believe whatever it is that you want to believe, but when the facts come down to it, we should all believe the facts. Beyond the facts, you can believe what you want, because that's up to guess, but once we know something, why lie about it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So, free thought and emergent sciences. He's a historical landmark. We never learned about this guy in school. At least I didn't. I mean, if anybody else has, let me know. I don't know. But what I think's interesting is because for myself, I kind of view it as he was against the Trinity, which is, let's say, the Creator is true, which I believe in. I'm not going to go with any holy book on it because I don't believe that should be the way. That's just me personally. I mean, you can have your own views if you want. That's okay, but I don't believe that. I believe we are all part of one central being. It's not that in a story. Stories are written by man, and that's why I just can't be subject to that. I'm looking at it objectively, so. But I could see where this guy was coming from. I just think that's interesting. There's a lot more information on him if you want to find out, but I'm trying to keep this video pretty short. Bruno was deeply influenced by Arab astrology, particularly Averroes. You can look him up. I don't know much about him, but he was influenced by that type of stuff. Renaissance Hermeticism and legends surrounding Egyptian god Thoth. Thoth is pretty interesting. He has a lot to do with modern culture today, whether you believe it or not, but he is a significant figure. He's got a lot of good information if you want to look up about Thoth. He was born in Nola. I'm not going to cover everything. You could look it up all if you want, but I just wanted to cover a few basic topics. He's been, let me see where it is, right here. But in keeping with his personality, he could not long remain silent. So he was talking out loud, basically, about his thoughts. And remember, he was a key person in free thinking and free thought, and significant role. So he was tried for what he spoke about, just like many other people we've been taught about. But we never taught about this guy, which I think is interesting. And he published, in August, he published an attack on the work of Antoine de la Fay, a distinguished professor. He and the printer were promptly arrested. And rather than him apologizing, he insisted on continuing to defend his publication, and he was refused the right to take sacrament. Though this right was eventually restored, he left Geneva. So they said, basically, forgive him. Okay, it's whatever, big deal. But they arrested him in general, and they refused to give him sacrament in the beginning. So then he moved to Geneva, does all that stuff. I'm not going to go through everything like I keep saying. I just want to make sure you know that, because I'm not going to cherry coat it for you. You got to look up the information if you want. Here's something, a cool picture that you should look at. It's a woodcut illustration of one of Giordano Bruno's less complex mnemonic devices. Look up mnemonicism or mnemonic devices, stuff like that if you want. It's a pretty interesting subject. This is what these people were into, though. That's why I want you to understand. That's why I want you to know about this guy, because he was heavily in work and influencing the way we think today. He's a significant figure, and we never learned about him in school, and that's what I'm trying to stress. Okay, just another minute here, and I will be done. Because, like I said, I just don't want to go through everything. Right here, imprisonment, trial, and execution. He was holding opinions contrary to the Catholic faith, speaking against it and its ministers, about Trinity, divinity of Christ, incarnation, faith pertaining to Jesus as Christ, virginity of Mary, Mother of Jesus, transubstantiation in Mass, plurality of worlds, their eternity, metempsychosis, and in the transmigration of the human soul into brutes, dealing in magics and divination. He was into Reiki magic, I think. Like, I'm not going to go into full of that because I don't know too much about it, but I believe that's what he was into. These people are into occult stuff, or magic, or whatever you want to call it. I don't really know much about it because, that's not my expertise, because I don't know anything about that. I was raised on a public school education, so I can't relate to that. But I think it's interesting to look at this stuff, just check it out. And, maybe as a collective we can figure out more stuff about it. But he was a really interesting figure. People should look into him. He was considered a heretic amongst many people. And here's right here at the bottom a monument to Bruno in place where he was executed in Campo dei Fiori in Rome. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if there's close-up pictures of it you can probably find. But yeah, he was a martyr in science, theological, heresy. People did not like him. He was, although looked at very greatly after his death. And he's done very much stuff like that. I mean, I can't even explain how heavily influenced this guy is on our culture, and we don't even know anything about him. So, I'm just gonna basically end the video here and try to get back to what I was doing. So look this guy up. He's got some good information. I'm just doing a quick little breakdown on the guy. But, alright, I guess, thanks for listening if you did. See ya and have a great day.